Our passion in our lives are a big part of who we are. They can bring out the best in us, and they often allow us to appreciate the best that we see in others. Shared passions promote understanding and empathy. They elevate our humanity, and they have a unique way of drawing us closer to one another.
Well, good morning everyone. We're out in the woods for a walk in another beautiful Door County winter's day. We had about, 4 inches of snow overnight. Wet, heavy stuff. It stopped snowing about an hour or so ago, and I thought I'd take a walk out into the woods and head over to one of my favorite locations to shoot here in Door County. And the reason it's one of my favorites is because it's a top secret location. I mean it. Nobody knows where this place is. Very few people. A couple of hunters, and as far as I know, I'm the only photographer who's ever captured this place that we're going to today. I did show it to a friend of mine a couple of years ago, who's an artist, the late, great Lee Radke, dear friend of mine, and I'll show you later a picture that he painted from this location that we're going to. At any rate, you might be wondering why I'm wearing a blaze orange vest. It's still hunting season here in Door County, at least for another couple of days, and I really don't want to get mistaken for a black bear. Lots of hunters around here, lots of deer. So in fact, I'll show you something here. I'll turn the camera around. You can see the deer tracks here along this path. So nothing beats a quiet walk in the woods after a snow. It's so peaceful, so quiet, and absolutely beautiful. Take a look. Snow among the birch and the poplar and the maple trees. It doesn't get any better than this. One of the many things I love about living here in Door County. So we don't have much further to go, another half mile or so, and I'll show you my secret location that I absolutely love to photograph. Just look at that stunning light, stunning. Clouds are starting to break up, coming from the west, pushing the clouds over the lake, further out, getting some sunshine and beautiful silvery water. It's that kind of silver yellow color that I just love. Just making my way through this abandoned apple orchard here, and once we do that, not much farther. So one of the reasons I like keeping this place secret is so much of the good stuff has already been discovered by local photographers and photographers who come up here to shoot. They come from all over the country, and it's not touristy, which is great. It's very close to my home, which is also great. Oh man, the lighting is coming on really, really nice. It's going to be beautiful back here. Just enough haze in the sky as the clouds are breaking up to soften the light, just like a natural diffuser for the light. It's going to be beautiful. I can't wait. I imagine there's a lot of hidden gems around the county, like this old covered bridge. It's just a matter of finding them. And as I said before, I don't know of any other photographers who have found this location. This spot was shown to me by a neighbor of mine who said that you can't show anybody else. It's kind of our secret spot. There are a few other people in the area that know of this. It was built, I think, in the 1940s or 1950s by a person who used to live in this abandoned house here. But yeah, it's spanning the creek, and I did take a walk around to see if I could find other compositions, but the bank is really steep and the snow is really wet. I did bring crampons with me, but I didn't feel like crawling down on the bank, and the water level is really high. We had a heat wave last week, a big thaw. We had a couple of inches of rain in the last week, and now this snow, and the creek here is really swollen. I'd say it's probably about chest deep, so I wouldn't want to go sliding down the bank and into chest deep water if I don't have to. So yeah, and I don't want to walk across the bridge to find any compositions on the other side of the creek, and I really don't feel like trying to find a spot to go around the creek to get to the other side, because footprints in the snow here would just kind of ruin the shot. So all right, so I'm set up here and I really don't like what I see, so I'm going to change my shot. I'll show you what I have here. All right, you see this down here in the lower right corner? Yeah, that and this in the lower left corner here, this bothers me. So the bushes are so laden down with snow, they're kind of covering the entrance, but if I change my position here and move in about another 5 or 6 feet, I can get rid of that stuff on the lower right and the lower left. And it's always a good idea to do edge patrol when you're composing your shot. So I have a 16 to 35 millimeter lens on here. I'm shooting at 35 mil. The sun, the beautiful sunlight that we had here a few minutes ago is gone. It's quite overcast again. And there's something called the 200 rule when shooting in bright snow conditions. You set your ISO to 200, you set your shutter speed to 200, and aperture, and you won't get blown out highlights and you won't get too dark of shadows. I like using my histogram on the back of the camera whenever I compose a shot to make sure that a histogram is going to be much more accurate than what you see on the back of your screen. So I use my histogram to make sure that I'm not too dark on my darks and I'm not blowing out my highlights. And I always expose for the highlights. All right, so I'm going to move this up a little bit. So now I can recompose the shot, and as you can see here, I'm not getting any of that creepy stuff on the edges. If I zoom out a little bit, you can see I can get that rock over there. That's quite nice. I don't want that tree in. Just recompose here. Move out a little bit and move up. Well, it showed I was clipping the highlights a little bit, so I'm going to stop it down about 1 full stop and shoot at f9 ISO 200 just to make sure I don't blow out the highlights. And here we go. Yeah. All right. We'll see how that turns out. Now I should head over to the other side of the bridge and see if I can't find some compositions from the other side. See rabbit footprints on the bridge here. I'd mentioned earlier that I took a friend here, a dear friend, Lee Radke, an impressionist artist, Actually, he was a signature member of the American Impressionist Society. He was very, very well known. And he was up visiting me one day. He used to love to paint. He was a plein air painter. He used to love to paint in Door County. And he would come up and he would stay with me and my wife for a couple of days. At any rate, I took Lee here a couple of summers ago, and he stood in this spot, the spot I'm at right now, and he photographed that bridge. And a few months later, when my wife and I were down visiting Lee and his wife Barb, he had us over for dinner. He took us out to the studio, and he unveiled a painting that he had made for my wife of this very bridge. And here's that painting. Lee passed away in December of 2019. He had a heart attack behind the wheel of a car. He struck another car, injured someone pretty bad. Lee was in a 1995 Mazda Miata convertible. He was killed instantly. I sorely miss him. He was a great man and a really fine artist and a dear friend. So I like coming here by myself, especially when it's quiet in the wintertime like this, when it's all covered with snow, and just reminisce about my times with Lee. Friendships are dear. They're very dear. That's it then. Packed up and headed home. Looking forward to seeing how that photo turned out in what is yet another behind the door location. So until next time, stay warm, stay safe. Remember your friends. And I'll see you down the road.
Overall, I'm happy with the result from this shoot. It's not going to win any awards, but that's really not the point. Whenever I see this photo now, or I return here, I carry with me the spirit and the memory and the passion of the last person I had the pleasure to share this with. And for that, I will be eternally grateful, and all the richer for it.